Hey guys, welcome to the video. Super excited today to be able to share one of my favorite people in the world, Amir, who is working with us at LoveWell with Cindy and Griffin. And I thought it would be great just to make this video to be able to really talk through number one, what Amir does at LoveWell, and number two, just to be able to share some of the stories and some of the lessons that he's learned for maybe someone just getting started wanting to learn how to actually become a real estate investor. So, Amir, I'll speak for you just for a second before we start. When we first met, I had no idea that our relationship would turn into what it is now. I kind of just assumed it was going to be kind of a quick, like, oh, I need like an assistant to be able to help with some stuff. And the reality is that like you've become like a brother to me. You are, I think, the glue of our business. You keep our business together.
Likewise.
And yeah, man. And it's just like it's crazy to see how things have progressed, and the amount of skill that you've gained over the last 2 years calling sellers has been unreal. Especially being in a different country. So maybe you can speak on that. Like, how did we get connected? Like, kind of where did we end up kind of starting our journey?
Right. Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on. My name is Amir. So it at first it was like a dream. At the time that I like found out that there is something called like wholesaling. I didn't know much English. I had to learn both English and real estate at the same time. Then and as you mentioned, I'm out of the country. I live in Iran, which is one of the most sanctioned country, and I was literally trying to do business in the United States, and the United States is the country that I'm being sanctioned by. So I had no bank accounts, no name on anything. So I was just trying to do my best to see if that would be helpful or that would be possible.
Mm,
Uh what I did at first, I did start my journey by outreaching to the agents, especially in Tennessee.
mm-hmm.
I've I got some tractions. I had a couple of contracts, but I didn't really know where to go with the contract, not knowing how to get paid, not having any bank accounts. And I was trying to just build my network and like meet new people online, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did that for a while. I guess it was about a year. I was consistent with it, but I couldn't really get much out of it.
Mm,
But I'm but as of now, when I look back, I see that I've gained a lot of experience by just making calls to
yeah.
the agents, right? Because I had to overcome like my fear of speaking on the phone.
Mm,
Not even that. I mean, even further, like I didn't at the point I hadn't spoken with anybody like who's a foreigner, right?
yeah. That's
So it
crazy.
was my first time hopping on a phone, talking with an agent, as well as it was in a different language.
Mm,
So it was all new to me.
that'd be unreal.
So
That'd be like me trying to go sell like airplanes right now to someone in Russia. You know what I mean? Like I just wouldn't know what I'm doing, and I don't know these
I
people. Yeah,
know.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Dang.
so for sure it was intimidating. I had to overcome some extra like fears,
Hmm.
uh, which took me a little bit longer than usual. Then we met each other, which has been a true blessing to me. I got to know you. We worked together. I had the pleasure of working with you as an assistant. Then later on, you gave me the opportunity to call the expired listings at
Mm,
first.
yeah.
We did that for a while, and then we shifted to what Cindy was doing at the time, which was calling pre-foreclosures. And I think it didn't really take me much to get my first deal.
No.
I'm talking about Nicholas.
Yeah.
We found the seller. He was motivated. We got it under contract.
Hmm.
We even found the buyer lined up. We signed the contract as well. So, not saying that was like discouraging, but it was really encouraging for me because at the time I was like, okay, this is something that I can do. It is possible. Like we found the
Right.
seller, we found the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go to the finish line,
Right.
but at least I know that it's possible.
Sure.
And yeah, so that's been my
Absolutely.
journey.
I love it, dude. Yeah. Well, I think it would be cool for some people to hear kind of like going back, right? Like you talked about overcoming some fears. Like, what were some of those fears that were kind of running through your head that you're like, I'm scared of this, or I'm worried this is going to happen? Like when you're calling these agents or sellers.
Mm. Uh, to be honest, like if you sit down and watch like YouTube videos of other people like cold calling or reaching out to agents, that's not gonna do much for you.
Mm,
You gotta try, uh like you gotta take action, even if it turn out to be like your worst ever like a conversation with someone, right?
right.
You gotta fail, try, fail to like gain your skill, and you will gain that by, I believe, by being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be
Yeah.
consistent at something. You'll make mistakes. That's fine. Uh, my best advice would be just you gotta take action. You gotta
Yeah.
take action, even if you know that you're gonna make mistakes. Like
Totally.
making mistakes is not bad at all. That's how you learn.
Mm, that's so good, man. And it's so funny because there's a lot of people that are here, like in Nashville or even just in America, that um, have so many reservations about making calls, cold calling, calling agents. Right? It's a scary thing to try, and here you
Mm-hmm.
are while you're learning a completely different language.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, number two, you're learning not only a language but another language, which is culturally, how do we talk. We could say something and mean something completely different than what you might think it means, which we've had that kind of conversation,
Exactly.
right? It's like, so like early on, did you ever feel like your accent or maybe even like your not complete understanding of the culture might be like a disadvantage when you're calling? Like, was that a concern for you?
Uh, I mean, when I look back, I see, or even as of now, I
Hmm.
always try to do my best with all the things that I have.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
And if I can make it better, okay, great. I'll work on it. If not, that's what it is. I
Hmm.
don't I don't get mad at people hanging up on me. I don't get mad at people who are just, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I always try to do my best with whatever I have. And yeah, just to add some additional information onto that.
Yeah.
Not only I was in a different country with a different language, I had to deal with several other things as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm in a totally different time zone. As you know, it's like it's like our difference is usually 9 hours in
Yeah.
time zones.
Yeah.
So my day starts at about like 6 p.m. and it goes to like 4 or 5 a.m. my local time.
My
So
goodness.
that's been my day. And yeah, other than that, I gotta deal with some other stuff like, we're limited as far as the sanctions and bank accounts and all of that. So
Connection
that's
issues. Like we've dealt with all of it.
connection issues. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah.
And you're calling it. That's the thing is you're calling it 3 or 4 a.m. and you got people here in America saying I don't have time to call. It's
Right.
like at some point, I think Amir is a perfect example of like check your commitment. And no one's forcing you to do this business. But if
Ah,
you say you don't have time, like you're lying to yourself. Let's just be real. Like
yeah,
you can do this. So I think that's good
absolutely.
inspiration, and it inspires me every day seeing how hard you work. Um,
Thank you.
so and obviously we got connected through, I believe it was through social media, right? Like we were
It was
through Instagram,
right.
and then you
Right.
started hopping on some of the Zoom calls that we had, which right now we obviously still have Zoom calls weekly in our creative finance group, right in the Skool community. But you were hopping on those, and I saw you on like basically every single one. And I had
Exactly.
no idea who this guy was. I'm just like, he's on every call. He's asking questions, like asking really good questions. And then one day I think you reached out, or I'd reached out to you, and it was like, hey, are you looking for any kind of work? And I was like, I'm not really sure. I was scared to kind of make my first like hire to like pay
You're
someone
right.
done that
Right.
before. And it was just so crazy. And then I was like, if you're willing to kind of just do this for, just a couple hours, like that would be great. You started doing that, and the more I heard you talk on the phone, I was like, shoot, this guy actually could make some calls and start getting some deals. So that's when you kind
Right.
of transition into like acquisitions. And I'll be honest with like everybody watching this, most of the time your numbers when it comes to like connection rate and like getting people like is at the top of the list with our whole team. So it's like
Hmm.
to think that maybe the one thing that I would have assumed was like, oh, like if he has a different accent than an American accent, that would throw things off. Sometimes I feel like it almost acts as like a pattern interrupt in a way,
Hmm.
where because you're so confident that they can tell you're not just some telemarketer, right? Like you're so
Right.
confident and you know what you're doing, and your pace, the way that you slow down, it's like there's
Hmm.
something different about you, and I think it actually does help you. Ironic. So I think that's cool.
Right.
So I
Thank you.
guess
Thank
like
you.
one question I would have for you is like, obviously when we got started calling, let's kind of start there, right? Because you do other stuff. You help us
Sure.
with data and cleaning things up and stuff like that, which is awesome. But when you started calling, like what was like the most surprising thing to you? Like what's something maybe you weren't expecting when you started making calls?
On a daily basis, like you're saying,
Hmm.
the
Like what did you
most
think it would be
surprise.
like versus like maybe what it actually is?
Mm.
Was it as scary as you thought it would be?
Uh, uh-huh, got it. So at first, even when I was calling agents, I would never mention my nationality or the country I live in. And I
Hmm.
thought I always thought that that would be something scary.
Mm.
And as time went by, I like for example on some of the calls I started like building relationships. I was like, let's just have a conversation as
Hmm.
just two person, right? Two human.
Yeah.
And I would just go further in the conversation talking about like the country I live in, like the other languages I speak. And I saw that that's not really what I thought it would be. Like people
Mm.
are not really wouldn't really react to that so much. So that was the fear I had, and it turned out to be it's not as scary as all at all, right?
Mm. Yeah. That's good. Because and I'm sure that you made some. Obviously, when you started calling, you made some mistakes, right? Just like
For
we all,
sure,
and we still do. I
we all
guess
do, yeah.
in your opinion, what do you feel like are some of maybe one or two of the biggest mistakes that you see people that are just getting started cold calling? Like, what are some of those mistakes you feel like people are making on the phone,
On the phone.
or maybe some mistakes that you made when you first started calling?
So obviously, in the beginning of everything, you make some mistakes, and by doing more of that, you'll learn and you'll stop doing those. But off the top of my head, not specifically on the phone, but I guess most of the people who start calling, doesn't matter if it's the agents, if it's the sellers. I think that they don't set the right expectations.
Talk more about
To
that.
be exactly. So like I see people who like in the comments, when you watch a YouTube like video, in the
Hmm.
comments you see people saying, hey, I got like 5 no's and this is not gonna work, I'm done with this is never gonna work. And they're not being patient with it. You gotta give it time, you gotta set the right expectations. Like
Mm.
you gotta show me your numbers and I'll tell you if you've tried enough or not. Like
Yeah.
it's just a numbers game. Show me your KPIs and I'll tell you if you've tried enough or not.
Yeah, you're right. That's the harsh truth people don't want to hear. It's like,
Right.
to some degree, skill does play a factor, of course. But at the same time, if you're not getting the dials in, it's not going to happen. So it's like,
Exactly.
yes, like, could you make 100 dials and get a deal versus someone just getting started may have to call 400? Yeah, that may be true because you're really good at what you do now, right? And they're
Hmm.
gonna have to play catch up. So like, what are those specific skills though? Like when it comes to like when I'm talking about mistakes, I'm almost kind of thinking about what's like a skill that you've learned on the phone that maybe you didn't
Hmm.
have when you first started.
Right, right. So, for example, one of them would be asking good questions. That
Mm,
matters a lot, which I didn't really pay attention to it, or I didn't thought that it would be a thing that matters a lot.
Can you
So
talk about
asking
what
the
kind
right,
of questions?
like for example, when you talk to someone, you don't want to be sounded scripted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, every seller is a different story. There's a reason, especially specifically about like foreclosures. There is a different reason why someone got behind,
Yeah.
and you don't want to like assume anything or like judge a lead beforehand and call the lead. When
Mm.
you call them and
Good.
for example they say something, sorry, you gotta stay there, not reading the script and really listen to what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
That's
says, "Oh," like for example, if I want to give you an example, I was talking to this gentleman and he said, "Yeah, we got behind and the lender did this and did that." But anyways, that's fine. What were you saying? I was like, "No, no, no, wait. What was that all about? Like, would you
yeah.
please explain a little bit more?" And then he he went on for like 10 minutes and it was like a whole different story than what I would thought.
Mm.
So never assume anything, like, and let them talk, be patient. If they say something, just pay attention and don't move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're so
That would
right.
be my best
That's
advice. Yeah.
that's a gold nugget for anybody that's watching because I think a lot of times when we're on the phone, like what Amir said, is we can kind of assume that we understand what's going on and we assume that we know the full story, right? Because
Hmm.
when you do this enough, you hear patterns, right? You hear similar things.
For sure.
And so like it's kind of like a natural thing I think in your brain to be like, "Oh, I know where this is going." But that's a huge mistake because at the end of the day, if you're trying to help somebody, right? You telling them what you do doesn't help them as much as if they can tell you their problems, what it's doing to them, what's going to happen if they don't do anything about it, right? And then you can start talking about how you might be able to help with that. But too
Exactly.
often, like in your example, he basically said, "Oh, there was this stuff with the mortgage company, but anyways, what do you do?" He's trying to put it
Hmm.
back on you instead of him opening up about his problems, which is probably, to be honest, the reason why he's in that place in the first place. Because
Exactly.
people are not willing to be honest with where they really are in life. And it's a scary thing to admit,
Hmm.
right? And so I think you do a really good job of that. So it's like, how do you get people to open up? Because like obviously, like not everyone wants to open up to someone random on the phone. It's like, what are some things that you do to get people to open up to you?
Right. I would say your tonality and how you deliver questions that matters the most.
Mm.
When it gets to these stuff, like for example, if I were to ask the gentleman, like, "No, please, like, would you please open that out for me, or would you please tell me," you know.
Yeah.
But like this, no, 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 wait just a second. Like, I guess, would you please explain a little bit more on what was going on, or just so I have some more context here. With the
Hmm.
right tonality,
Yeah.
most of the time you'll be able to like
Com-
right,
Completely.
they'll open up.
No,
Hmm.
you're spot on. Because basically part of what you're saying is like if you just breeze over with a question, they're gonna breeze it over with an answer. If you're like,
Exactly.
yeah, if you're like, how have you been? What answer are you gonna get? Oh, I'm
Good.
good. How are you, man?
Yeah.
Right? But if you pause, man, with everything going on, like the last, you said 2 years, right? Like, what? How are you holding up, man? What kind of
Mm.
response are you gonna get? Oh
Different
man,
for sure.
it's been tough. And now you actually get to have a human connection with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's real connection, as long as that's genuine
100%.
to you. So, and I think you do an incredible job of that. That's one of the hardest skills to learn, to slow down,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that's really good. Um, one question I would have is like, what's an objection that like used to trip you up, that kind of used to mess you up on the phone, but it maybe doesn't anymore?
Mm.
Because we work on a lot of objections.
Right. I would say it would be the objection of I don't want to sell my house.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
in the beginning or the early days, we didn't know much about foreclosures. We learned that uh, as we were making calls and we were going through it. And in the early days, we didn't have much to offer other than just seeing if the person wants to sell or not.
Yeah.
But later on, we found out, okay, we can help them with their options if they want to keep their house, and maybe we didn't even know that someone could keep their house who's in foreclosure, right?
Right.
So yeah, so I guess the one objection that used to bother me and it doesn't anymore would be I don't want to sell my house,
Mhm.
which there's no push. You can sit there with the seller, ask them the right questions and see what's their real goal, what is it that they're wanting to accomplish, and help them accomplish that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's spot on. I think that's a big fear for a lot of people, especially if they're calling someone in foreclosure and they're saying, "Hey, I'd love to make you a cash offer," and they're like, "Ah, I don't want to sell my house." A lot of people are
Mhm.
like, "What do I do next?" Right? So, how do you recommend handling that?
Uh, Again, by asking the right questions, I would try to see what is it that they're trying to accomplish.
Hmm.
What's their goal? If they want to keep their house and stay there,
Yeah.
great. You give them their options, and if not, that's what you can offer. And
Gotcha.
most of the time, people want to keep their house, but haven't tried any options yet. And when you give them their options and explore the options with them, they found out they find out that none of the options are going to work for them.
Yeah.
And then later on, they decide, okay, I want to sell now. Would you
Right.
be able to help me?
Yeah. 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 And it's sad because there's a lot of people that wait way too late, um,
Hmm.
even though they know there's no other option.
Right.
Like there comes a place where they've tried everything and they know that there's no other option to sell, but they just don't want to
Hmm.
accept that. And so I think that's a hard thing to get someone to accept that. So like, what's a question that you ask to try to get someone to see into the future, or to try to kind of see some, help someone see the consequence of not selling, of not making the decision?
Right. Based on what they say on the phone, I would try to see how would that impact their life. Like I would be like, I
Mm-hmm.
guess if you lose your property on foreclosure, on let's say on the state an auction, I guess what would you do then, or how would that
Yeah,
impact your life?
yeah, and then maybe they're like, I don't know,
Yeah, what if you really thought about it?
right? And then it's like, gosh, well, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have anywhere to live, right?
Hmm.
So I'd be worried about that, you know. And then you can ask some,
So
yeah,
yeah, some more questions like, oh, no, nowhere to live. Like I guess
hmm,
how would you handle that, or what would you do then? Like,
right, yeah. And then like, are you willing to settle for that?
hmm
that's something you're willing to settle for. Well, I don't know. Well, whose decision is it if you settle or not? It's mine. So what do you want to do? Ultimately, it's their decision. You can't
Right.
force this on them, right? And I think if you can show that empathy, like what Amir is saying, with like real concern, because you should be concerned for them. If you actually care about the people you're talking to, you should be concerned for them. If they're 3 days away
Hmm.
from losing their house, this is not like
Exactly.
it's not like a casual let's go grab a drink and hang out kind of thing. This is a
Hmm.
completely different conversation, right? So
For sure.
let's kind of go back into like a positive thing. So can you share maybe a deal or like a moment or anything that we've done so far that like you're the most proud of? One that you're the most happy about or proud of that we were able to help.
So for sure, that would be my first one, the one we did in Tuscaloosa. I'll never forget that one.
Hmm. Tell me.
I connect, yeah, I connected with the homeowner who at the time wasn't living there, and apparently it was his cousin, that lady who lived there, and we connected with the seller. I built the relationship. We talked a little bit, and he wanted to sell the house, and he didn't really. Uh, I mean, at the time, the cousin who was living in the house didn't know much about the foreclosure and all of that,
Hmm.
and the seller wanted to sell the house, so we came to an agreement, and then later on, and that was actually that is a good, like, really great story, because she didn't know about it, and then we told her, she cried on the phone, and
Hmm.
later on when we bought the house, we sold it to the cousin, and I know that you spent a little bit time on her being able to get her loan and all of her stuff together to be able to buy it back from you, and that was a big win for the seller, for the cousin, for us, and I guess that is a really great story to me.
That is a great story. I actually
Yeah,
forgot about that one. That's one of my
yeah.
favorite. I think his name was AJ, right? I could be wrong, but that was one of my favorite ones.
Askia, if
Huh?
I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
Askia J Little.
Askia.
Yeah, AJ. Yep. He's awesome. So, anyways, um, you know, one thing too that I think runs through my head is like, yeah, you could do this on your own. Like you can cold call on your own. I've done that. It sounds like you've kind of done that too yourself. But like, can you talk a little bit about like LoveWell, like the team itself, and like maybe what makes LoveWell a little bit different from like other teams that you've seen or heard of?
For sure. So definitely, it helps a lot when you are in a community. Doesn't matter how small it is, doesn't matter how big that is, and especially if you work as a team member in a team, right? We have like daily meetings, which we hop on and tell about our success, our failures. We, like, role play,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't give you the feel of like being alone along the way. Like, you have someone to talk about. You have people around you so that you can talk about the, I don't know, objections that you come across,
Yeah,
like problems that you have, and share your ideas, how we can make everything better. So it definitely matters. We're really grateful to be on the same
yeah,
team.
yeah. Me too. I'd rather be on the same team than the opposite team. That wouldn't be fun. Amir would probably whip my butt, so that would not be good. Um,
No.
so like what I guess like some a piece of advice for someone watching this that's they're brand new or maybe they've done one deal, right? And they're desperate to figure out like how to get started, right? And they're hearing some of the things that we're talking about. They're like, "Oh, that sounds nice to not have that, not have that fear to call people to where I could just get on the phone and call someone. Or it sounds nice to be able to know what to say and when to say it and like how to say it, the tonality. Like all that sounds good, but I'm still super nervous to make even my first call. Like
Right.
what advice would you give to that person?
Um, I would say so. As far as you're not making calls, you haven't done anything. Like
Mm,
if whatever that is, you make yourself busy with that. That's not being counted. That doesn't count.
yeah,
Like if you gather a list, if you skip trace, that's you haven't done anything yet.
yeah,
You gotta make your first call
yeah,
and be okay with like making mistakes.
mm,
Everyone does. Like all
mm-hmm,
of us do. Right? You gotta make mistakes. You gotta learn from them, and by time you'll get better at it. No
yeah,
one has started like being perfect.
mm,
No one did.
smart.
And yeah, just get yourself to that point. Start making calls, and you'll see it is easier than what you thought it would be.
I think that's really good advice. It's always the stuff we're always scared of, you know. It's like what we always talk about, right? It's like the devil that you don't know is scarier than the one that you do know, right?
Exactly.
So it's like people are living a life where they feel constricted or they feel like, man, I'm not making enough money. I'm not building wealth with real estate. Or even just, I don't like my job and I just want to be able to work for myself. But at the same time, the thing that's keeping them there is just the fact that they're just too scared to try this new thing. And
Hmm.
it's really kind of sad to watch that because I was there for probably a year and a half, 2 years where I
Hmm.
was too scared to make a call. I was too scared to spend money on mail. I was too scared to do a lot of things because in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what script to use. I don't know the perfect framework to use with a seller. And what I've realized over time is like that stuff doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Hmm.
It matters if you want to grow your business at a high level. But if we're thinking about just starting and getting your first deal, you could be really, really bad at this and still get your first deal.
For sure.
You really can. My first deal, I was awful. I was horrible. I look back and listen to that call and I cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so bad. And guess what house that is? The house I'm living in right now. This has been the biggest blessing. And I listen back to that call and I'm like, oh my gosh. But if I had never just put myself out there and you had never put
Hmm.
yourself out there, you wouldn't have realized now you have that capability to be like, oh wow, I could do this the rest of my life. Of course, you and I and the team LoveWell, we want to get better. We want to get deals more consistently. We don't always get deals as consistently as we want to, right?
Right.
We're all learning and growing too. So I think that's an important thing for people to hear. It's like if you want to get on that journey of learning and growing, like you have to just start with your first call. Just
For
make
sure.
one. Make one. That's it. Like
Right.
you don't have to commit to 100 right now. So,
For
uh,
sure.
Amir, I got two questions for you. One, where do you kind of see LoveWell going yourself, and like where do you want to grow next, like in 2026? Like how do you see things going?
I mean, as I always say, future looks bright, especially on this team. We've
Mm-hmm.
grown a lot. We've made a lot of progress. If you
Yeah,
look back, like in the early days that we started like doing foreclosures, we didn't really know what we were doing, but we were there. We would show up every day. We would make calls,
yeah,
and that's how you start.
yeah,
Uh, and this year I on the side as for sure, of course, I'm still calling pre-foreclosure leads, and I work on that. But
yeah,
on the side, I'm trying to build and or rebuild my relationships with the agent
yeah,
in the area to to get ourselves more leads and be able to
yeah.
add value to the business for sure.
I think that's great because I think you have a knack. I think you have a knack for that, like connecting with agents. I think you do a really good
Hmm.
job with that, and so I think it's smart when you kind of came to me. We started talking about this, a couple of weeks ago about getting back into the agent thing. I think that's a good thing, and I'm excited to see you grow that in 2026. And I think there's some other things too, like
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the foreclosure data and stuff that you have in other states. But I think for other people like watching this, it may be a good if they don't know where to get data from, that could help.
Right. So we used to gather our data like manually from the county websites and like other data that you would need that has existed on Zillow, Redfin, and some different information like mortgage information and how much equity each property has, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up building a website which does all of that for us. And as of now, we are actively gathering information in 3 states: Tennessee for the team, Alabama, and Georgia.
Hmm.
And we our goal is to expand this to all the 50 states. And for anyone who's struggling with that or don't have enough time for that, we I have a special offer for you, and I guess you can reach me out on Facebook. It's a bit long, my name, but we'll make sure to put that in the comments for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, where can people find you? They can find you on Facebook, right? Where else?
Facebook would be best.
Okay, Facebook.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, well, we'll definitely put that in the description below, his Facebook, and definitely reach out to him, give him a follow, connect with him. Amir's an awesome guy. Amir,
thank
anything
you,
else
thank
that you
you.
want to share with the people watching?
One more thing about, and I'll be done, about the overcoming the fear, because I know that's a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we do this every day. It's not a thing for us anymore. But
Mhm.
as I look back, if you haven't made your first call and you have this big giant fear of like making that call,
Yeah.
think about what would happen worst case scenario. Like worst case scenario, you call someone, they hang up,
Mm,
or sorry for my language, they would start like cussing you out, right?
yeah.
That would be the worst case scenario. Like nothing else. No one is gonna put you in a jail. No
Mm-hmm.
one is gonna, so that would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah. That's spot on. I think that's really sharp. Like you want to think through like what's the worst case scenario. And I think for some people that will really help them. And I think it's interesting because sometimes even that people still are stuck because they're like, gosh, because the thing on the other side is not worth it for them. Like you have to have a vision for where you want to go that is big enough for you to take that risk in the first place.
Exactly.
Because for some people, like if let's say there was no reward on the other side of it, right? Or the reward is that you get a drop of water. But what you have to do to get that drop of water is you have to sound stupid in front of someone and you have to get rejected and someone say, "You're a scammer and I hate you." A lot of people wouldn't do that. Even
Mhm.
though that's like not even that bad, right? Because the why is not big enough. So you have to know in your
Exactly.
in your head, it's like, what? Why am I doing all this? What am I doing this for? Do I really want this? If not, then I'm gonna stop questioning it. And I'm just gonna go either work my job or do something else. But if you really, really want this, and you outlet that in your head, and you listen to what Amir said, and Amir said, think about your worst case scenario. Okay, is that worst case scenario if that even happens? Because it probably won't. But if it does
Hmm.
happen, am I willing to take that risk on myself? And I think a lot of
Spot on.
people, and I know we're kind of going on a rant here, but I think this is good for people. I think a lot of people get to the point where they don't know for sure if it's going to work for them. Like they don't know, oh, okay, I'm sure Amir and Evan can make, 500 calls and they can get a deal or two, but like there's no way I could. I don't think that that's me, right? And there's something about them that they feel like it's different. But here we are on a call with someone that doesn't live in this country, that English is not his first language, that he has to call at 4 in the morning when he's tired, and he's still getting deals. So I think you're a big inspiration for everybody here, especially in our local group and in the Skool community as we grow it. And they can also connect with you in the Skool group, right?
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah, you can shoot
absolutely.
a DM. That might even be the easiest way, honestly, because a lot of the people watching this are already in
Mhm.
there anyways. So, and your name on that is
Right.
just here.
Amir. Yeah,
Okay,
as nickname. Yeah.
perfect, awesome. Amir, thank you so much for being here, man. Love you, bro. You're
Thanks.
awesome, and I think everybody watching this video and in the Skool community needs to connect with Amir. If you don't, I'm gonna come after you, okay? Because Amir is awesome. All right, thanks for
Thank
watching the
you.
video. We'll see y'all soon.
Yeah, take
Peace.
care.